partially from a presentation done about a year ago by the Board of Education, along with some more detailed information provided by the state building assessments and their master plan. These assessments look at the buildings and provide costs of what it would take to bring them up to current state standards according to the Ohio School Design Manual, or the OSDM. I believe the purpose of this is basically you're going to have a new building, essentially. Bring them up to what a new building would be. We'll start here with the high school, and I'm going to kind of go through these pretty quickly because they're all the same. But they go through them on a line item type of list, lines A through X, and it looks at each system or portion of the building on a different line. So heating, roofing, ventilation, electrical system, so on. And each building is assessed equally and fairly off of this list. So what we come down to in the end, this is the assessment of the high school where we currently are, is a $23.5 million project, complete renovation to bring it up to like new standards. Some highlights from that assessment: the building, and I believe this is from last year, so maybe a year old, 48 years old, requires new high-efficiency heating and cooling, a new roof, new electrical, lighting, plumbing, new floors, ceilings, cabinets, and paint, new security systems, new building sprinkler system, remove all asbestos, including all exterior walls, new furniture, new technology. Next, we're moving on to Farmersville. Same form, $11.6 million to bring it up to new standards. Highlights: 92 years old. I'm not going to go through them all because they're all the same, with the exception of wheelchair access. This building here is our only one that has an elevator, and none of the others do. So all the others are going to require some significant changes to provide access. Moving on, this is the Germantown building, the intermediate building. $19 million on that project, or on that building. It's 93 years old, the same type of things needed as the other buildings. And finally, Germantown Primary, the old Germantown Elementary, $8.8 million on that project. So, that building, 67 years old. So the Board of Education, we're working with the OFCC, develop some options of what we can do. And one of those options would be maintain the existing schools. And this would be just keep on keeping on. Repair what needs repaired and update things that needed updating. So, provide the AC, replace the heat and AC in all the buildings. Buildings that don't have AC, put them in. And sometime over the next 20 years, which is what these repairs are based on, 20-year time frame, we're going to need new roofs. We need to replace the electric, lights, technology. We need new windows and doors, new flooring, ceilings, paint, cabinets, and furniture, new security systems, wheelchair access, elevators where needed, and replace paving and sidewalks. Now, part of this is kind of relating to it and how you live your own lives. Many of you out here that I'm looking at are going to have to do these same things in your house. You know that your heat and AC unit is probably not going to make it another 20 years unless it's brand new. You're probably going to need to replace the roof. Windows, you might do that. Your flooring is probably going to need to replace. You're going to need to paint. You're going to need furniture. These are all things that everyone is going to have to do. This is all maintenance people. And some of you out here in the next 20 years may have to look at accessibility options in your own homes. So this is what it would cost to do that, just that. Keep maintaining the schools, update the things that need updating. It's $39.5 million. Now, this is not renovation. This is maintaining. So our current permanent improvement fund generates about $800,000 a year. So in that same 20-year time frame, we're going to generate less than half of what's needed to do all this. So looking at these options, the Board of Education has decided, and the state have decided, that the best option is to move forward with new buildings. So the state has developed a master plan, which is based mostly off of projected 10-year enrollment of 1,704 students. Recommendation: these are the 4 buildings that's listed. It shows when they were built, and also it shows the renovate to replace ratio. Now that's the cost of renovation divided by the cost of replacing. And the state has a guideline that says when it gets to 2/3, you need to seriously look at replacing buildings. The state recommends that we abate all the asbestos and demolish all of our buildings based on these renovate to replace ratios. The Germantown primary comes in at 114%. Farmersville building comes in at 91%. The high school where we are now is 3%, and the intermediate school is 99%. A particular note, this is the square footage of our current buildings. 271,000 square feet, remember that. So this continues on down the page. Total abatement, demolition cost, just about $8 million. Now that would be part of the bond issue, so 53% of that would be covered by the state. We would pay the rest. So the new plan would be a pre-K through 3 in Germantown. 7 through 12, and the land at the school over the high school here. And a 4 through 6 building in Farmersville. Like Amy mentioned, this is kind of a plug-and-play type thing. You put in the number of students times a square footage per student, you come up with the square footage for a building. Simple as that. There's the square footage for each building. Total square footage, 240,000 square feet. It's 30,000 square feet less than what we currently have. That's the equivalent of 7 high school basketball courts. That's like taking the Germantown Elementary building and doing away with it. That's how much space we're talking about losing here. Now granted, some of that space is auditorium space, about 6,000 square feet that we'll not have. The rest of it is just pure classroom space. We come down to the final page, the new construction portion of it. We see that they've taken the square footage needed per building, multiply it by a dollar amount per square foot, come up with building totals for each of the buildings. So we come up with a new construction, $56.7 million. Throw in the $8 million for the abatement and the demolition. Project total $64.7 million. So that's a lot of money. How do we pay for it? Well, $64.7 million. The state, like I mentioned, will pay 53% of that. That's 34.3. We're going to take cash from our PI fund, Permanent Improvement Fund, over the next 10 years. The buildings will be new, so we're going to take some of that cash and help to pay down the debt. That will count toward our local share. That's money we've already approved. I think it was back in the 90s when that was voted in. We're going to use a little bit of that. And so that leaves a $27.5 million local share. That's on the May 2nd ballot, 38-year bond, 5.39 mils. Key points here. We have to do something, people. I mean, it's, you know, if you're here and you're just a no matter what, this is, it has to be done, period. It's long past doing things. Doing nothing is no longer an option. Yearly cost for $100,000 tax valuation is $188. Do not forget, people like to gloss over this, bond is like a mortgage. Borrowing $27.5 million, we're paying interest on that. So we'll touch on that a little bit later. The other thing, we will need to pass an operating levy within a few years, whether or not this bond passes. Time frame is roughly about 2020. There's nothing fishy about this. When you pass a levy, it's a snapshot in time. It sets your revenue stream straight. And eventually your expenses come up and meet that. You start deficit spending. It's just the way things are. So the renovation costs, they seem a little high. So how does the state arrive at these figures? Well, experience. Got a heck of a resume. The Commission is currently working with or has completed all necessary work in 2/3 of the state's 611 school districts and has opened over 1,140 new or renovated educational facilities. But me being me, I want to see how believable these figures are. So I want to take a closer look at the guidelines that they use to assess the buildings. So a rooftop HVAC unit that's over 10 years old are to be replaced. We have one on this building on the addition. May not be anything wrong with it, needs to be replaced. Replace membrane roofs that are 7 years old or older. All outdoor buildings have flat membrane roofs. Replace asphalt shingle roofs, something that many of you probably have on your house. That are 10 years old or older, they must be replaced. Now, I'm sure you know when you buy them, they last longer than that. The electrical system is over 35 years old, replace the entire system. Toilets, urinals, and sinks. Take a toilet out, put a toilet in, $3,800.
I'll go for half.
Basketball backboard replacement, $6,500 each. This is actually from the high school assessment. That's a fair price on a basketball goal, honestly. But I play in here every Sunday night, and they're fine. Exterior water hydrants, like the spigots on the side of your house, $1,400 to replace, or to add them. Granted, it is difficult to do things in block and concrete buildings, but at some point you just trench a line in and put a hydrant in. And my favorite one, replace the playground at Farmersville, $342,510. 7th and 8th graders go to school in Farmersville, and they don't have recess. And I just can't believe I'm the only person that's thought that. High school cafeteria where we currently are is 3 square feet, too small. They probably let that slide. The administrative area here in the building, the office space is about half of what is needed. Some things that don't really have a bearing on education, I guess, are kind of glossed over, allowed to slip by. High school sits on 29 acres, 41 acres are required by OSDM. Farmersville, 9.85, 14 are required. Germantown sits on 20.85, 27 are required. So the point I'm trying to make is these figures contain everything from ridiculous prices to unreasonable life expectancies to requirements that aren't necessary for education. So should we believe them or follow them? Ask the question, what was the reasonable lifespan for a new building? On OFCC's website, it says, with reasonable upkeep and maintenance, building systems should last at least 40 years. Building structure is expected to last well beyond that. According to the architect that has been guiding the district, 45 to 50 years is pretty much an expected lifespan of the building. Now remember, an attempt was made to replace the high school at 38 years of age, and again now at 48. So how true is this statement, if we build new, it's going to last and last and last? So I want to take a look at the 2000 edition of the high school, because this is the newest structure we have. It involves the addition to the cafeteria back there, as well as a new wing on the north end of the building. So this addition is 17 years old. It's a little over 11,000 square feet. According to the state's assessment, the renovate to replace ratio is currently at 48%. So half of this addition's useful life is gone, roughly. If that's 17 years divided by 48%, that's 35 years to reach 100%. Yeah. Does this sound familiar? This is where our high school was 10 years ago. OFCC estimate to bring this addition up to new is $1,252,000, which is 48% of the cost to build a new addition. This includes total replacement of the heating system and ductwork, the roof, not because of the condition, but because of the age, lighting, and general finishes, doors, trim, etc. So in order for us to even begin to keep pace with what's expected of us by the OFCC, we would have needed to have spent $73,000 plus a year in order to keep up with those guidelines. That's $6.65 a square foot. So if you multiply that through, and I didn't put it on here, if you multiply that through the proposed new square footage, we should be budgeting for and actually spending $1.6 million a year on upkeep. Our current operating or permanent improvement levy generates $800,000 a year, of which we're going to spend 2.9 to pay our local share of this bond.